Hello, Yaka here. In today's episode, we talk about PC stereotypes and our opinions on them. Thank you for choosing to listen to the Busy Adults podcast.
Welcome to today's episode. 3 hosts with us today. Ray, Yaka, and Monkey. Drake and Ryder had some ridiculous computer problems today.
It died. Probably. We don't really know, but
who knows? We haven't heard from him in hours.
We know his kayak hurt him, so yeah.
Wait, did he say his kayak fell on top of him
or
the cats or something?
So he was avoiding the cats to fix the computer, and instead he hurt himself on his kayak crate. So now he said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna hurt the cats next time. I don't care."
Oh, I see. That's his skin.
Yeah, so he's got a nasty
a lesion.
Yes, I wouldn't call it a cut, but I wouldn't call it a bruise. It's kind of in between.
A lesion. I love that movie.
This is why we stay away from Yaka. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah, this is the only time that we talk to Yaka is on Tuesdays when we record and on Fridays when we
Everything
play our game.
has to be social distance, so you can just shut it off.
And then Yaka comes around on texting us and calling us, and I'm like, I'm sorry, we're social distancing. I can't.
It's just like the dog that's on the other side of the fence. Hey, you there? Hey, I see you.
And you just kind of turn away slowly.
Yeah.
And ignore him.
No, we love Yaka.
We do.
We all love each other. It's a big old cuddle fest.
Yep.
A socially distant cuddle fest.
Didn't used to be. It used to be hugs all around.
That's true. Before the end times.
For that damn motherfucker ate that motherfucking bat over in fucking China.
Jesus.
Thank you, asshole, who ate the bat in China. We hate you.
I don't even know if that's how it actually started.
I don't
trust the internet.
If that's what would have happened,
I don't trust China.
Ozzy would have gave it to us a long time ago.
That's true, but Ozzy, he has so many drugs in him, I'm pretty sure that killed the disease right then and there.
His blood is probably just straight up formaldehyde. Yeah. Let's be honest.
That's why he's not dead yet.
Because he's been dead for years now.
Yeah. But yeah, so welcome to the 4th episode of Busy Adults.
Busy Adults.
Are you making up the
fun times?
You're making up the songs again.
I have nothing else to add.
No. So I hope you enjoyed the actual song and not Ray's made up one.
I've been singing a lot. We were talking with each other before the recording started for a good half an hour. Actually,
more. It's like an hour, really, because of Drake and Ryder.
Yeah, we were waiting for him. We were holding out hope that he would be able to join us this evening.
We were, but we're all busy adults, and we can't wait any longer. And he said, just go right ahead. So we're going right ahead.
Plus, he has to work in a couple hours, so,
Busy adults.
Busy adults.
So we're scrapping what we were going to do and just coming with something on the spot.
So what we're going to be talking about today is overused tropes with the classes in D&D, or just other tabletop role-playing games that implore these same classes. We have, the rogue, the warlock, the bard, barbarian, paladin, druid, cleric, monk, and ranger. We might be able to talk about all of them, maybe not, but we're just going to be talking about overused character stories or descriptors for these classes.
And I'm sure a lot of them you people already know about, so even if we don't get to everything, you have an idea in mind.
I feel like me and Ray are going to default to oh, we saw that in Critical Role and
Yeah, mine's a lot of just oh yeah, I saw that on the internet. Or, oh, yeah, I had that really great idea. Oh, but it's been done a million times. Okay, right. Fuck it.
I'm not afraid of it.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I love Critical Role as much as the next person. you know, I know other stuff too. Yaka, I know things.
I know you know things. It's
and
creepy
stuff.
how much you know about them. Like, you could literally replace Danny.
No,
as Lore Master.
no, absolutely not.
Yes.
Absolutely not. Don't listen, people of the internet listening to this, don't at me. I am not going to replace Danny. She knows much more than I do. She's the official lore keeper of Critical Role, and I am not coming for her. Yaka, you take that back!
We're gonna take you down, Critical Role!
Oh, God.
Yeah, so if you do want to at her, just to complain,
gosh.
it's on Twitter, at Mean Cleric.
That's me.
Yep.
At Mean Cleric.
Mean
Go on.
Cleric.
Yep.
Okay.
Mean
That's-
Cleric. MENCLERIC.
Dang, I just got doxxed on my own podcast.
So yeah, if you guys want to complain, or even send some love, go right ahead. Or if you want to send some love to our actual podcast, it's at Busy Adults with 2 D's for D&D.
Mean Cleric? That's not a trope.
Hey, thanks for bringing it back on topic. Mean Cleric is not a trope, but do you know what is a cleric trope? The hyper, super religious cleric.
Hey,
I guess that's the first one we're going to talk about
I'm the master
today.
of segues. What can I say?
It's not a segue if you point out that it's a segue after you do the segue.
Well,
It
it
is.
I mean, it was a successful segue.
It was. But now we're going off topic again, so let's bring it right back to that religious cleric.
Yeah, super religious cleric. And I mean, okay, so here's the thing. As somebody who has played multiple clerics in D&D games, that's where you get your power, is from your god. It's pretty easy to fall into the super religious cleric trope, always praying or always trying to cast commune, which is a 5e spell. Always trying to be pious or pray for other people or do, what was one of the things, death rites or something like that. Just being overly about your god. I mean, that's kind of what a cleric is, but you don't have to fall into that category of super evangelical Christian type cleric.
Yeah, you don't have to pray all the time or try and push it on other people and stuff like that. You don't. You get your power from your god. Yeah, absolutely, and that's fantastic. Doesn't mean that you have to throw it in everybody's face, because most of them don't give a shit.
Kind of like real life?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly.
So,
Oh, for real.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, the overly religious cleric is a typical trope. It is something okay, if you're a new player getting into it, absolutely go with it, because it's something that is familiar to you and it makes sense. But if you've got a couple characters under your belt, a few campaigns, you should try something else. Even if it's the first time you're playing a cleric, you know how it works. Pick something else.
For sure.
Yeah, but what if you're,
and kind of...
But what if you're like me, and I would play that super religious cleric just to annoy people a little bit, Just every once in a while, throw it in there.
You would turn it into a super crazy douche cleric.
Douche cleric.
So yeah, that evangelical crazy super church kind of cleric that everybody except for their specific followers hates.
Yes.
But all you need is the love of God.
I played 2 clerics.
You don't need the love of everybody.
Oh.
Just the love of
Jesus
God.
fucking Christ.
And that's where we move into the stupid, dumb barbarian that just wants to smash shit. Because
yeah, we're moving on. Clerics, Listen, you got your god, you got your power from your god. Awesome, great. Please don't shove it in our faces. We know your god's cool. He gives you the power. He heals us. You resurrect us. Awesome. go pray on your own time.
Yep. And if your god steps in and we see it, yeah, we believe you. You have a god. Don't keep shoving it in our faces, even though we know it's true.
Oh yeah. Gods aren't like oh my god, I pray to this mysterious being. No, gods are real.
Yeah.
They're there. Everybody knows it. You would be silly, to be an atheist type character because you see the work of whatever gods, or that are in your world happening in front of you all the time. You're not dead because of those gods on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So, like, we know, like, your god's cool. Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah. That's it.
That's
Thanks.
it.
Yep.
Thanks.
And if you do kind of, go out there and get crazy with it, again, you've got that big, dumb, stupid barbarian who's just going to tell you to shut up and smash.
I love the big, stupid barbarian.
I love smashing,
like,
so we're on the same page.
No, I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan of himbos in general.
Yes.
I love a good himbo.
Yes.
Yaka is looking confused. Another word I'm going to teach you today.
Isn't that a bone in the body,
This
a
will be number
himbo?
3.
No, a himbo. Like a bimbo, but for a him. A himbo.
It's like a, yeah.
Like a boy bimbo.
A boy bimbo.
And you can't say babimbo.
Babimbo.
That would be silly. So they
it's
call
a fun
them
word, though.
himbos.
Babimbo.
Just big, strong, dumb.
Yep.
I personally love himbos, but in the D&D or tabletop role-playing game realm, it's a little overplayed. Like, intelligence and wisdom don't need to be your dump stat if you're a barbarian.
Although, if you're doing it in a funny way, I will allow it sometimes. Like, I made my, if you guys remember that one shot we did, that one dragon born barbarian.
Yes!
So, you can play the stupid dumb barbarian if you do it in hilarious ways. If you're not just like, oh, I don't know what that is. Oh, what's that? Don't do that kind of thing. But if you just want to be like, I'm fucking punching this magic mirror because I'm pissed off, do it. Do it and see what the fuck happens.
Well, like, to me, you consider that where you're just punching random shit as a barbarian. Now,
if you get really pissed off and you're playing off that rage,
and if we go with, which I think is in the same vein as stupid barbarian, Grog from Critical Role. I think that's super iconic, but he's not this ragey dude all the time. Like, he's got things that piss him off in his character. It's not just, oh, I get angry and hit stuff because that's what I do.
Yeah.
I'll
agree with that.
A little more depth.
Yeah, I think he does. Yeah, he does. Travis Willingham does do the stupid or dumb type of barbarian class very well. He role played the intelligence score beautifully. Because he wasn't just a bumbling, mouth breather that was drooling, and he didn't know common things. Like, he didn't know letters. He didn't know how to read. That's fine. People that don't know how to read still know how to, like, drive a car.
Yeah.
They still, know how to do things in a regular life. They just don't know how to read.
Yeah. And, I mean, that's a typical thing. Just because you don't know how to do something, like one or two things, doesn't mean you're dumb. You can not know things and still be pretty intelligent.
Take Yaka for
example. Like, let's just go with that.
I'm so sorry.
She's not.
Finish the example.
No, I take it all back. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not. I think
she didn't push the envelope. That makes me rage. Oh.
Yeah.
What's another good one? What else do we got? Let's start at the top of the list. We got the loner rogue at the top of the list. You know, I'm a lone wolf. Live alone, die alone. Yeah, I don't need anybody. Nobody needs me. I mean, except for the rest of the party that needs you to check for traps. Yep. For the rest of the campaign.
Yep. Yeah. And, you know, your parents died when you were a baby or when you were little.
Oh, yeah. The orphan trope.
Yeah. And now you've gone into the Thieves Guild and they've raised you and now you're on your own. Yeah, no. Well, it's boring. Nobody cares.
I mean, I've heard it for the ranger, but it kind of also works for the rogue. It just seems like any class that you get a lot of skills in, you tend to be a loner sometimes because you can do pretty much everything by yourself. So then to me, you almost have to role play why you need the party. You know, what is your end goal?
A lot of times it would be for what am I trying to say? Like you have a good set of skills, but there are specific ones you don't have, and you need people to fill those gaps.
Right.
That's more of what I would say it is, or you're kind of using them for an end goal.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, you could also torture people.
Well, yeah, but I mean, so can the wizard or the warlock or the bard. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, or
I mean, as long as you get creative. I mean, you don't necessarily need a high charisma. I mean, you can just torture it out of somebody.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, what is intimidation? Isn't that a strength-based check?
Charisma. I'm pretty sure.
Is it?
Is it?
I'm gonna check.
Because intimidation is your words and stuff like that. I don't think it's necessarily strength.
I would assume that intimidation is a presence.
Right, which is a personality, which is charisma. Because charisma is not just like how you look, it's your personality.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. That is a fair assessment of charisma.
Charisma is intimidation.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of a different system that uses strength. Maybe it was Pathfinder that we played.
Maybe.
That intimidation was strength-based.
It's been, 2-3 years since we played Pathfinder?
Yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah. It could be.
It's been a while. But, yeah, I mean, conversely, on the side of your point, Yaka, about having all of these skills, I mean, maybe somebody taught them to you.
Yeah.
You don't have to necessarily be alone. Somebody could teach you how to track, how to, safely lockpick, or how to steal things, and,
your family.
They don't necessarily have to have been brought up on the streets or, been an orphan in the gutters to learn all that stuff on their own.
Right. Like, I mean, that's what I kind of wrote it with Yorl.
Yeah. Yeah, family business
it was
type
a family
deal.
Business kind of deal. So, but I mean, to me, like, he can still, that's what I think the rogue excels at, is being able to go off by yourself and handle things by yourself.
Certain things.
Fighting the big bad guy by yourself, probably not. let me throw
with
that
arcane things.
Let's throw the dumb barbarian in there to take some hits for me.
Distract him.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's one of the good things about at least 5e or that we've seen. It's pretty balanced for like a full party. Yeah, the rogue has a lot of skills in X, Y, and Z, but, the cleric or the ranger make up for it in their other skills, and it's not one class necessarily is stacked against everybody else, even the bard.
Yeah.
The bard's just good general all around. Like, they're not really good at one thing, it seems like.
Right, but they're not, I don't think that they have like a million skills and a million everything compared to everybody else.
The spells make them more generalist than anything. And then obviously subclasses give you specializations. And yada yada.
I think it's the lore bard. Like, you get a shit ton of skills, but like.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
But at the same time, it's like, I feel like the other classes sometimes exceed more with their features, I guess,
yep.
than the bard would.
Yeah. And again, that's where the bard's more of a generalist on almost everything, and they don't really excel in one specific piece. Unless, again, you go through a subclass and you just go at that subclass and don't really pay attention to anything else they can do.
Speaking of bards, another sort of tropey character or class characteristic would be the horny bard or the seduction bard.
The bard that wants
we all know.
to fuck the dragon.
Every
time. Yeah. That's the one we're talking about.
There's nothing wrong with going into a tavern and trying to flirt out a deal on some rooms for staying the night. That's fine. Anybody can do that. It doesn't have to be a bard. It could be anybody attempting to do that. But it's always the bards trying to fuck the dragons.
Yeah.
Like, it's always them trying to, give the sexy eyes to the queen at the, at the table right next to the king. Like, it's always the bard.
Why just the queen?
Trying to fuck everybody.
Why just the queen? You can do it to the king, baby.
Well, when the king isn't looking.
No, you just give him the eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, she's good.
Or, if he's not looking. Or if he's not looking, little reach around.
Boop, boop.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
God, you love a good reach. You love to see it.
I mean, I love...
every time.
I like the one I built for our fuck around campaign. And,
yes.
I was like, yeah, I specifically want to do this. And Ray's like, okay, we'll do that. That sounds fun. And then you guys picked up on it right away, and you're just like, wow, a bard that doesn't want to fuck shit. And I was like, damn, there goes my whole fun character.
Yeah, so that's where the trope kind of backfired, because we were totally expecting him, of all people, to play the horny bard. He is literally the exact opposite of what we thought he was going to be, which is why we caught it so quickly, because we were expecting him to just fuck everybody in the tavern that we started in. Another trope, by the way. You can starting your party in a tavern.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty classic D&D trope. You find yourself in a tavern.
Yep. That's how it most of the time starts. Either that or you're coming out of some academy. We did that the very first D&D game we played with Drakenrider. You're coming out of an academy. You guys are fresh recruits. You all party in the tavern. So we did both of them at the same time.
Yeah, it was a twofer.
Yeah. Yep.
But, while we're talking about tropes in general, there's a reason that these are tropes. And people use them time and time again because they might not necessarily be like classic things to fall back on, but they're familiar things for people to fall back on. So for new users or new players, it's easier to introduce them to a horny bard. It's easier to introduce them to your ranger, which is modeled after Legolas. Because everybody is familiar with that sort of character, so it makes it easier for them.
Yep, and I could say the same thing with new DMs. You don't really know where to start. You could pick up a module, absolutely, go for it. But if you're doing a homebrew thing like we do, most of the time, if you're new, you're probably going to start in a tavern, which is fine. Start in a tavern. But again, if you're experienced, like I've said before, you should probably do something different because it's getting
old. One of my favorite things to do is whether it's character creation or I've seen how to start the campaign differently or whatever. Pinterest, dude, like you just look up tips for whatever game hooks. Like some of the crazy ones I've seen is you go to sleep, one of you wakes up in the middle of the night and there's like a whole city not too far from you, cloaked in fog that wasn't there before. And you're just like cool little game hooks that's a little to do. That's what I like. And just go to Pinterest, like look up stuff online so it's not so stale and stagnant. Just do something creative. You don't have to come up with everything yourself. Like sometimes you can steal, or you can just use it for inspiration for something else.
Yeah, there's another nice resource that I've used in the past as both a player and a GM. And I can't think of his name, but he runs the YouTube channel How to Be a Good GM or How to Be a Good Player.
British dude,
like
or something?
not actually I think he's South African.
The dude's hilarious.
He's good.
I love him. His name is Guy, but I can't think of what his last name is.
Yeah.
Link to the YouTube channel in the
He's excellent. I really enjoy his.
Yeah. Right, because he's not giving you a list of, hey, these are 10 ways or 10 things for you to play your rogue as. He's giving you ways to think about, okay, pick a book off of your shelf. You got the book? All right. Think about the setting. Think about, like, he's giving you ways to figure out how to make a original character. I do quotes original character because I have the opinion that there is no such thing as an original character. We'll talk about that later.
Oh yeah, because I plan on...
That's a full...
I'm devil's advocate 100% with you on that.
Yeah, that's a full conversation for another time, but, he has a lot of good videos on how to put together, like, how to do world building, how to do character backstories, and how to figure out what you should be doing, or not what you should be doing, but what you can be doing.
Yeah, he's definitely a great resource to pull from. Even if you're just interested, like you've never played before, watch him. He'll give you a lot of ideas.
Yeah, man. I really dig his stuff. Like, yeah, he gives you the lists of 10 things not to do when rolling dice or whatever it is. Yeah. I haven't watched his DM stuff because I don't DM, but like he does one on the rogue, and he literally talks about, don't do the stereotype of, oh, I gotta do blah blah blah. He's like, take that stereotype and go, why? And then figure out what branches you can go off of it. He's like, because once you just like break that first branch from the stereotype, you can usually just go, bah, 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 and it's totally different.
Yeah. Yep. And use the backgrounds.
Yes.
So some of the books, the core rule book and
Xanathar's?
Yeah, Xanathar's Guide to Everything. And a couple others, like I think Guide to Wildmount. All of those have backgrounds in them. Now, you don't have to use those. You don't. But what they're really great for is resources. Those are your backstories, or can be a part of your backstory. They give you, items, gold. Some of them give you spells, contacts, stuff like that. But if you don't want to use them, at least use them as a resource to create your own background or backstory. Obviously with DM approval, but use them. They're fantastic. I have Illusion Wizard that I rolled up who has a really cool kind of backstory where he's kind of like a double agent for some kind of thieves guild. I forgot what it was exactly called, but he's a spy from this other place, but he's in a guild, an artisan guild, to kind of spy on them and their finances and this and that. But little twist in it is he's in love with one of the people in that other guild.
Twist.
Romeo Juliet.
And that's one of the I know, but that's one of the official backgrounds. So absolutely look at them. They have like a lot of non-trope backgrounds, along with a few trope backgrounds. Like you've got the hermit and the scholar or whatever. But use them. They are fantastic resources for not following the usual.
Like, I do like it because it does randomize it, so you can get multiple characters out of it. But what I like to do is roll all the dice, complete the whole thing randomly, and then just pick out the stuff I don't like because I have a better idea.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, rolled it out. He's a whole character, but cherry pick what I want.
Yeah, because again, you don't have to use what they give you.
Right.
Just as a resource. It even tells you.
It's great.
Use it as a guide.
It's great.
It is.
On that note, we are going to take a short break, a short rest.
Ha-ha.
Yeah.
And we will be right back.
Welcome back to the Busy Adults podcast, guys. All right. Yaka's over here all pissed off.
God
That's
damn,
okay.
now I gotta listen to multiple tracks to edit this bullshit.
Oh my
We try
gosh.
and get Ray to do it every time because it helps Yaka do the sound editing and yada yada, but you know what? Fuck
I
it.
mean, shit.
We're going balls to the wall.
I'm an asshole. I understand. Like, I have sympathy, empathy, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yeah. So, welcome back.
During our break, I was thinking a little bit what we were just talking about using the backgrounds. And 5e does a really good job of the bonds and the flaws and all of that stuff like that. So it helps you flesh out your character either by rolling randomly or just using the table and cherry picking what, looks like it would work best for you. It just makes roleplay so much easier when it's handed to you on a silver platter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Oh, another thing we mentioned before the break, the Legolas Ranger.
Yes.
I love the two different reactions. Yaka, yes. Monkey, ugh.
I'm just tired of it.
Yeah.
I am. I mean, it's one everybody knows.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be Legolas. Yeah. Level 1, you're not Legolas. You are the Skyrim town guard who took an arrow to
Yes, that's exactly what
the knee. You are that guard. You have taken an arrow to the knee because somebody shot you and you suck. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fallback because, it's an iconic ranger archer type of person. If you think about, the most notable or the easiest recognizable ranger, your first thoughts are either going to be Legolas or Robin Hood.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're men in tights.
See, if you play Robin Hood Men in Tights, I am all for it.
Right?
Please.
Can we have a campaign where we're all just
Yes.
Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Yes.
Well, I can't remember who it is, but I watched something about they're about clerics, and it's just like they're so OP, and you can heal. It's like you could have a party of clerics and they heal each other. You call them the A team, Amen team, or some shit like that.
Yes.
I was like, oh man, but
That would be really good. Almost as good as a full bard party.
I just think it's cool that Legolas is so iconic in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I was building my old character Yaka, I tried to get away from it, and I was like, because I kind of wanted to be like this archer where it's one hit and it does a lot of damage. So that's what I was trying to build him as.
Yeah, you were like the hunter
that
mercenary.
was possible in Pathfinder.
In Pathfinder, yeah, when you're doing like hundreds of points of damage against one thing.
Yeah, I was just trying to get over AC instead of trying to split up all my attacks and then like all the hit die are low.
Which is kind of what I did with my monk.
Right.
Yeah, you want 14 attacks? Go right ahead. But you gotta beat that AC.
Yeah.
Sorry. So
You guys had formulas.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, full on
Yes.
formulas based on what like decisions I wanted to make. So if I wanted to like do extra damage, okay, well I got to use this formula now, and it's like 7 different things I'm adding up, and then multiplying it at the end. And yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. It took me, I think, every round 4 minutes just to add everything up. So the DM at the time was Drake and Ryder. He would just move on to the next person. He's like, okay, just tell me what it is and move on, just to keep things going.
I took a short rest during your turn, so.
Yeah. Yeah, please do. So yeah, Pathfinder, it's pretty crazy the numbers that it comes up with. 5e does a good job at kind of curbing that.
Yeah, it's much more accessible and streamlined, I think maybe are the words that we're looking for.
Yeah, for sure. But back to the Legolas Ranger. Again, if you're new, go ahead and fill the trope. Do it. It's something familiar. Lord of the Rings does a great job at kind of giving everybody something that they can kind of feel familiar with. But if you're an experienced player, pick something else, make somebody else do something. Like, I've got a Kenku Ranger right now, and he's all about like finding and stealing magic items. So
and drinking
excessively, because that's his character flaw based on the backstory or the background. Mm-hmm. So he's a bird who can't really talk but mimics everything, because that's what Kenkus do, and he drinks excessively while trying to steal magic items and magic in general.
I love being an enabler for my little bird friend.
You have bought me so much dwarven ale and expensive wine. It's been fantastic.
Until that one time when I took it away. Because you kept killing. What's your name, Yaka? Maxwell.
Yep. And all of it was on accident too. That's the thing. It just there was so many ones, and the DM's like, yeah, he's right behind the guy you're shooting at, so you're gonna hit him. Right. Roll for damage.
I mean, shit, you were even doing target practice and hit me.
Yeah. Yep.
It was rough.
Yep.
Like, I literally think you're out to get me. You've shot me that many times.
Cook the bird. Cook the bird. I've got 20 other characters to fill the spot.
Damn. I mean, I'm waiting for that fireball spell.
Or that delayed fireball I showed you guys the other day.
Oh no, that's waiting too long.
Oh man,
that's the long game, brah.
So good. But, all right.
Who's next? Let's see. Let's go. Let's leave this one for last.
Okay.
Let's go for the goody paladin, the lawful stupid paladin.
Oh yes.
As some would call it.
I hate that one.
So the nice thing about 5e is they're no longer restricted by their alignment.
Yes.
If you want to be like a chaotic evil paladin, you can. It's not.
You don't even have to be an Oathbreaker paladin to be a lawful evil paladin either.
Yeah. You can do whatever you want. But I mean, at the same time, don't be a chaotic evil paladin unless you're playing an evil campaign, because that's just stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good trope, a murder hobo.
Yeah. Yeah, which everybody
likes that.
Falls into at some point. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, I mean, if it's the group, if everybody all at once is acting in that manner, that are burning towns and getting money, like, I mean, that's just what that campaign is going to be until the DM decides enough of this bullshit and has you all arrested or TPK'd or what have you. But, it's easy to be a goody paladin. It's easy to, I see the best in people, and I'm gonna, here, young lady, let me help you across the road. And you don't have to be a Boy Scout.
No. But
it's easy to kind of fall into it, because that's how a paladin is seen. They've seen as, like a protector of the people, or, it's a little tired to be goody. I would much rather see a paladin who has a drinking problem, or a paladin who, likes to go to the House of Lady Favors. Somebody who isn't completely Superman. Yeah. Like, do something bad.
Well, that's the whole point of a flaw, right? I mean, you have to have a flaw in 5e.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
You don't have to, but it's good to build the character with.
I mean, if you don't have a flaw, I don't think he's interesting. Like, he's got a goal, but he's got nothing that will hold him back from getting it. Like, it's just too unchained.
Yeah. I mean, even my paladin that I play in our regular campaign, he is a more typical goody-goody paladin. He is. But he's also addicted to gambling. So there's that. He gambles. He will suggest that a certain member of our party does certain bad things if I'm not paying attention. And things of that nature. But for the most part, he is a goody-goody paladin who wants everybody to be friends, who wants to help everybody that he can, and so on and so forth. Although he is a tiefling at the same time. So he's a little demon boy paladin.
I love it.
The dichotomy.
Yeah, so that adds a little bit of a crazy aspect to it, which may or may not affect him down the road. We'll see.
It started to affect him.
It has started to creep up, but it has not affected his day-to-day life as of yet.
Oh boy.
Which, yeah, you don't know about it yet, Yaka.
No, I don't.
So you don't. We were secrets.
Yes.
But that's okay. That's why I'm not alluding to anything
there was
else.
something...
Yeah, we didn't say anything.
I mean, the only thing we really saw was with Aaliyah in that. The warlock. So... But, that was fixed pretty rapidly. Well, not the build up to the fight, but, during the fight when it's like, oh yeah, that didn't do as much damage as you thought it did. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, actually, since Draken Rider isn't here, I doubt he's going to listen to this episode. We're roughly 40 minutes in.
Yeah.
He's not going to listen. Hey guys, peek behind the screen.
Oh no, we're going behind the DM screen, guys. This is a very rare moment for us. Oh no.
No, I'm just kidding. So actually no, maybe I'm not going to talk about it. Great.
You can talk about a little tiny bit of it, I'd say.
What a tease.
I know, I'm a cock tease. No, so the item in question, what had happened was Monkey was able to craft an item using, his own hands and imbuing a bit of magical quality within this item. The warlock in the group, the edgelord warlock in the group,
which we'll talk about later.
Which we'll talk about in just a second here. They have been exhibiting very evil tendencies. And so Monkey imbued some of his good spirit within this talisman that he gave to the warlock in good faith. Like, hey, I see you going down a bad road. Just... I don't know if you care or if you want to, try to think of the other side, but if you do, here is this trinket that I made for you. Just hold on and think about it. Just try to think about, good stuff when you hold it. And almost immediately, the warlock was like, okay, I hold it. And it starts to, sizzle in the evil warlock's hand. And so the warlock was like, it's there's some kind of curse on this. And so they tried to put it on a homeless person and bad.
The warlock did not the homeless person in the name of my paladin.
Yeah. So the warlock was not happy with this. They ended up sort of making some adjustments to the talisman, but it did keep the good energy that Monkey had put into it. The warlock, we then entered combat a little bit later in the session, and they used that talisman on their book because they are I think they're not a great old one.
The tome
pact
one?
Yeah, they're a tome pact warlock. And so the warlock put the talisman on the tome. Well, this talisman is good. It has imbued with it good energy, and it counteracted with the evil energy in the tome, so when the warlock did cast a fireball, it was a diminished fireball. They didn't bother to ask why. They just took the beautiful trinket that Monkey made and was like,
they reshaped.
Fuck this shit. Yeah, and they just
and that's
threw it out.
metagaming
And I'm
for
like,
you.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So that may come back to not bite anybody in the butt, but it may come back as a subject at some point in time if you notice that the talisman is gone.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't she throw it at me? Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, I didn't think she threw it at you. I thought
I think she ripped
said, it off and threw
I'm gonna throw it at the dumbass over there that made it.
Yep.
And
well, that can't be anybody but you.
I know. So I know about it. I thought I was gonna die that session, so I was like, it's okay.
The goody paladin. The goody paladin.
I know.
But, that kind of encapsulates our edgelord warlock that's part of the campaign that I'm running with you guys is, they're evil and they're a loner and they like to make bad decisions and like be a murder hobo. Like, really? You can't be even a neutral warlock? You gotta just go straight evil?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep. And as a little bit more background into Drakenrider, a lot of his campaigns are pretty dark. Like the one that we're playing in now that's been on kind of a hiatus because of various reasons. It's a very dark, fucked up campaign. So him playing a very dark, fucked up character is not a surprise.
Yeah, that's
Very
true.
not.
And the other thing is, we know that that's how the character is. That's not how he is.
No.
Nobody holds it against one another for character choices because we're all friends and we all kind of know the type of in-game choices that we will all make.
Yeah.
So he's an edgelord warlock. It could be more original, but he hasn't been a player in a very long time.
Yeah.
So he's able to, he's falling back on it, which,
And I mean, he makes up for it in the other campaign with his incredibly original, weird as shit monk rogue combo. Yeah. So I'm okay with it. Be the edgelord because I know you can do better.
Right.
And you need this.
Yeah. Oh, edgelord.
All right.
Yeah. Speaking of monks.
Yeah.
One of the other sort of trope characters when it comes to monks is like a Zen monk that must find balance in the world, usually of Asian descent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually.
They don't have to be. In the real world tradition, that's the case, but not in a place where there's orcs.
Well, in the sense of D&D monk, in the real world tradition, yes, Asian. Now, if you've got like a Christian monk,
like a friar tuck monk,
that's like running around beating the shit out of people, go for it. I think it's awesome. Please do.
I would love to see a friar tuck just do a fury of blows.
Yep. I want to see the martial artist friar tuck do it. That I'm okay hilarious. With that Zen monk. I am. Because that's out of the norm. But when you go back to the typical Asian monk, Buddhist monk,
yeah. I don't know. I kind of like the way I would do it is almost try to be a monk that is not balanced and is finding balance. Because to me, monk is kind of a discipline class. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're training and you're harnessing your body's power or whatever. So.
Well, that's one of the only classes that has like little to no magic, even with the different types of subclasses.
Yeah, the only two I can think of are like the Radiant Soul, Radiant Sun, I can't remember, and the Way of Four Elements, and that one's just blah.
Oh, you mean Aang?
The shitty Aang. Yeah. Like the Aang that's still a 5-year-old who barely knows what he's doing. That one.
He's gonna save the world. Yahoo!
Yeah, that one. If you can, don't play the Way of the Four Elements monk. Unless it is the one that has been kind of crowdsourced and fixed. That one's better.
I know that you sent me the fixed one. I don't think I've ever seen the original, or I've seen the original. I just haven't looked into it because I'm not a super martial class type of player.
So the main thing about monks is they use their key points to do anything extraordinary. When it comes to the elements monk, their key points are kind of overused. So the very basic things can take maybe 3-4 key points when you have a pool of maybe 8 to 10. And so you can only really use that once and then maybe do a flurry of blows down the road type deal. That's
not very cost effective.
No, it's pretty shitty. It makes it, from what I've seen, the worst subclass in 5e. That's what I've seen a lot of people say, and I'd have to agree, which is why so many people crowdsourced to get together to fix that subclass, to make it viable. Not OP. It is not OP by any means. It still uses key points, but it makes it more manageable, and it gives you more options as to what you can do with those key points.
And I think people just wanted to be able to play it and have that idea of Aang and the Avatar kind of thing ringing in their head without going, wow, this is absolute crap.
Yeah, because who doesn't want to be an Avatar?
I mean, I'd love to play it once.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I wanted to be a kineticist in Pathfinder before we stopped, is because a kineticist is a bender. They are a bender. They just add in like a psychic element to it at some point. But that's what they are.
My first thought with kineticist in the Avatar world is like that Sparky Boom Man.
Yes.
Who has the eyeball, the tattoo eyeball on his forehead.
It's not a tattoo, it's an actual eyeball.
I thought it was a tattoo.
No, it's an actual eyeball.
Oh.
It's weird as shit.
Anyways, I love a Sparky Boom Man.
Yes. Yes.
And the name caught on. I think Sokka named him, everyone was like, "What? That's a stupid name." And then they just started calling him Sparky Boom Man.
Yep. It's like, look out, Sparky Boom Man. Everybody knows exactly who they're talking about.
Yep. I like how they kind of brought him back a little bit in Legend of Korra. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but
I watched most of it, but not all.
Okay, so Zuko, as an old man, he's like 80 or 90 or something, I don't even know. He's going to this ice prison, and he's like, I hired somebody who's just like this to kill the Avatar once. And it's like, what the fuck? But they're going to visit this chick who has the same exact powers. I don't know if she's a descendant or whatever. Has to be. But a chick that has the same exact powers, eye thing, she thinks it, and boom, there's explosions and shit. So, whoa. Sparky Boom lady?
Okay.
Yeah, but so Zuko kind of plays it off like, oh yeah, I hired a guy just like this once. It's like, what?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
I dig it.
I guess that could also fall into the same trope as the monk, is the character who must, I must defend my honor, and thanks for my honor, like how Zuko was in the first, sort of half of the show.
Yeah.
Like that's another old trope that falls on monks or, other characters who, are Asian by descent, because that's just the way that media has been portraying them, that's their story, is that they must have honor. And it's tired.
What if you tried to play a monk, and I'm just bouncing it off you guys. The monk, like I said just before, discipline with your body to achieve amazing fighting prowess. What if he wasn't disciplined? You know what I'm saying? He was just a normal dude,
like a drunken monk.
Yeah,
that's
and
what
he's
I
just
was
kind
thinking.
of just like he's growing as this monk, but he's just like all of a sudden getting better, but he's not training whatsoever. Like
like Spider-Man.
Yeah, isn't there a 5e drunken monk subclass?
Yes,
specifically.
I know there is in Pathfinder. I know there is in Pathfinder. An official.
I'm taking it back.
I
don't know if there's
would
an
it be
official
specifically, or would you just RP it that way?
Way of the Drunken Way.
Yeah. I know Pathfinder does for sure, an official one.
Oh.
I know that there are homebrew classes of the Drunken Master. I don't know if there is an official 5e.
I don't know.
I mean, there's one coming up on Wiki 5 D&D 5e Wiki dot, but that doesn't mean anything.
Right, it doesn't say.
There's no
book
source.
It's from.
Yeah.
So.
Oh. Drunken Master Monk 5e subclass series.
I see it.
There's a video. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to look it up before.
Yeah, man.
But
yeah.
Because
I
mean, I think that would be pretty cool. It's just be a normal dude, and it's like, why all of a sudden is he getting good?
it's just going to give you the standard
stuff. Because to me, that almost seems like it could be mystical in the sense that he's awakening hidden powers almost. Like, you could make it almost religious in a secular kind of way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think the key points, key is a pretty, like, good concept for, like, the balance, the secular thing that you're trying to harness power from.
The Dalai Lama, he was chosen, and they have to find the chosen one. He's the chosen one, and he's just getting his powers and shit, adventuring.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Wait, how does that work?
Yeah.
It's like that meme of that kombucha girl. No. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
I think it sounds good on paper.
Right. I mean, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way you're gonna know is if you try to play it.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'd love to be able to play one day.
One day. Oh,
Drake and Ryder just has to stop working like a madman. And then we get back in our other campaign.
And stop popping out babies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all need to stop doing that.
I stopped. I did it.
I'm a recovering parent.
It's been 4 years since my last baby.
It's been 5 months since my last 2.
You're on the road to recovery, my friend. And it looks like the last one that we have on our list here for D&D tropes and D&D class stereotypes is the hippie druid.
/ stoner.
Yeah,
hippie / stoner druid.
Which Yaka has a build for already. By the way.
Absolutely. I want to do it. I want to go all the way.
I know.
So I guess maybe I'll add, like, we do have builds for these. We do want to play them because as much of a trope and as much of a stereotype as it is, sometimes it's fun to give in to stereotypes. You know, sometimes it's just easier to be a hippie druid that's high or smoking whatever kind of, thing that's going on and making flower crowns and talking to animals. Like, it's easy to do it. That's why people do it.
The party's over there planning how they're going to do this, and you're over there lighting up a joint waiting for them to get done, man.
You got that long bottom leaf.
Yep. But at the same time, if you want to be creative and make some kind of like crazy, weird, fucking scientist-ish type druid that wants to experiment on things, go for it. I'm all for that. Or a warforged druid.
Man, yeah, that's kind of weird.
That looks so fun.
It does. It really does. Because warforged don't have to be all metal.
Because to me, like, I would almost build the druid almost in like the idea of a ranger. You know, like, he's in touch with the land and he's just kind of a guide, but he's not, in my opinion, as aggressive and direct as a ranger, because he has spells to kind of get rid of whatever problems that come across, and he could just be a guide.
Yeah, so more of like a beastmaster,
kind of,
almost. Not so much like a Legolas type ranger. Yeah.
Well, druid.
Yeah.
It'd be like.
Well, druid, but yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
But yeah, hippie druid, stoner druid. I mean, yeah, you can be the stoner. Again, Yaka's already built this one. You can be the stoner druid that uses plant growth to grow all of your fucking pot.
Dude, quit giving away my whole kit.
I'm just saying.
What? How do you know this, dude? Like,
yeah, you can't.
I was hearing somebody talk about their stoner druid that they have, which, I mean, again, it's easy to fall back on. It was a turtle, and he would grow his own herbs on his tortoise shell. And I'm like,
I'm okay with that.
That's cool. God damn it,
yes,
that's cool.
That is badass.
I'm okay with that. That is creative.
Yeah. You just got to put your own spin on it.
Exactly.
Of course you can be a hippie druid. I think we started out this episode with, you're a Legolas Ranger. You're stupid. Why would you do that?
You're a horny bard who wants to
original.
fuck a dragon? No.
Right, and now we're all like, yeah, do whatever you want.
Yeah, so certain classes, certain tropes, I mean, go for it. If you can't think of anything else, or you just really want to play it, like we have some of ours that we really want to play and like mess with, go right ahead. But horny bard, don't fuck everything. Don't do it. Legolas Ranger, don't do it. It's just not worth it, guys. Do the stupid dumb barbarian though once, just to get it out of your system.
Yeah,
because you're probably going to be a murder hobo at that point.
You mean the one I didn't get to play?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, and I guess maybe on the opposite side of the coin of don't do it, you know what? Sometimes you don't have the opportunity to play in a game often.
Yeah.
And you know that you can role play a Legolas type ranger. That's something that you can pull from. And you don't have the opportunity to play a lot. Like, use Legolas as a jumping off point. Use him as a sort of just a twinkle in his eye of what your ranger is going to be. Don't base him completely off of an already made person or character.
Yeah.
Because it's at that point that, the rest of your party that probably spent time on their characters and their backstories, they look over to you, who picked him out of a movie, well, a book, whatever. But let's be honest,
it's a movie.
We mean Legolas in the movies.
Yeah, because unfortunately, most people have not read the books. I can say that I have not read the books. I'm sorry, but I have seen the director's extended cuts multiple times on those movies. Yeah, that's how much I've kind of gotten into it.
I only watched the director's extended cuts of all movies. I watched the director's commentary versions of all movies.
Look at you. But yeah, I do it. And at the same note, as far as like your party, the rest of the party spent time creating these characters. Maybe you are filling a hole in the party where somebody just kind of ditched them. They're like, hey, we need somebody really quick. Okay, cool. You got 10 minutes. Pick one that you know. Pick a trope. Mm-hmm. And again, build off of it later on. But you've got 10 minutes. Don't have time for backstory. Just go.
I mean, I like my druid because, I built him to be a hippie. But at the same time, he has ties to a city that he just...
Yeah.
Like, he's fighting one way because that's what he feels, but, like, he keeps falling back into city life because he enjoys it.
Yeah, and you've put a lot of thought into that character and kind of the story that you want to play off of, like, so it works.
It's typical, but at the same time, I'm trying to make it interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not just trying to be a stoner playing a game.
Yeah, build off of the pop culture that you know in your brain, the books that you know, the TV shows, movies. They're great resources for you to pull that information to create your own original character.
Yeah, and there's so many other resources out there. Use the books. Use the D&D books, the official guides, and even the homebrew stuff, as long as your DM approves. Because homebrew can be super OP.
Yeah.
So if you find something you love, send it to the DM. If they say yes, go for it. If they say no, maybe try and adjust it or ask them, okay, what would you change to make it good?
Talk to your DM.
Yes.
They are the ones who are also running this world. If you're having a hard time finding how you fit in, they'll help you fit in, because they should know. I'm not saying that a DM should know every single thing about the world. That's, unless you're Matt Mercer, that's almost impossible. But they should know something about the city that you start in, and maybe a town on the outskirts, and help guide you, help you fit into the campaign, and just help you along with your character, because DMs love to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, or any other TTRPGs.
Yeah, I don't know about
Absolutely.
that one. I don't think Dungeon Masters are too into D&D, to be honest.
They're not obsessed with their worlds.
Not at all,
what are
man.
you talking about?
Like, you just throw that shit together. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's no pre-planning whatsoever.
To be fair, our other campaign, that's the case. 100%.
You-
I don't put anything together.
You are letting us play the world how
Yeah.
we want to.
And-
it's like,
Yeah.
hey, here's a town. You're going there.
And I think
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool because it's going to totally strengthen your skills of just like throwing random shit out and having it make sense.
Yeah, I mean, what was that last not campaign,
The last session.
episode that we had?
Yes.
Yeah, the last session that I said episode. Fuck.
That's okay.
They're not episodes.
I mean, some of the one-shots are going to be episodes. So guys, watch out for those, because we've got some really fucking weird ones.
Yeah, if it isn't posted before this one is put up, we got a nice horse-based one-shot that we did that was pretty fun.
We have mentioned it briefly in episode 3, if that should be up by then. But, yeah, so when we do post that horse episode, it will have the rules included, so if you want to play along, go right ahead. And there will be a link to where we found it to, give a tribute to.
Yeah. Credit where credit is due.
That's right.
I made up none of those rules. I used it that it was an open source game. I used it because I had 3 minutes to prep before the game started.
Yeah, and we recorded it, and we were like, you know what? Yeah, we'll make it an episode. So it's going to be not our usual format.
We spent more time building pictures of our characters than preparing for
I spent more time on a My Little Pony horse generator than I did actually prepping for the game.
Right. Yeah.
Which
is fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. So please don't question my skills.
No.
You got you got to be able to plan, but you got to be able to roll with stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Going back to characters and stuff, the actual episode.
Tangent over.
Yeah. So going back to that, as players, if you have ideas, or if you have a new player in the group who has no idea what they're doing, help them. Absolutely help them. Do not look down on them because they're new or they made stupid decisions. Help them and teach them as to why the fuck that's a stupid decision to dump your strength stat as a barbarian. Okay? Yeah. So, help them out. Do it. If they don't have a backstory, it's okay. Help them kind of figure one out. We have new players in our campaigns regularly. Usually they're spouses, but we do. It happens. New players happen, and it's fantastic. But if your DM is new and they're making a homebrew campaign, as a player, help them out. Make a backstory for your character. Talk to your DM to see how that backstory can tie into their world, because they may not have even thought of it. But doing that enriches both the world and everybody's playing experience. So
yeah, it brings the world a lot closer to a player who may not have been sort of connected or feels ingrained in the world. But if you let them say, yeah, I grew up in this town. What's the name of the town? This? All right, you just named the town, my friend. They're going to be excited when they go back to that town that they named. they're going to be excited to see NPCs that they put in their backstory. Well, okay, depending on the context of how they're in your backstory, they may not be very excited. But
El Warren says hi.
Yaka just peed his pants.
Yeah, a little bit.
That was a good talk, guys. I liked it. I think we softened our stances. We were able to identify that maybe you can do that. It's alright to do it. Just,
Try not to.
Try not to. Work on it a little bit. Build off of it.
Yep.
Ask for help.
Yeah, I will say my first character was a Legolas type character. He was I think elf or half elf ranger.
Mine was the dumb barbarian.
Legolas. Yeah. So it happens. Your first character is probably going to be a trope because that's how you know it.
Right.
Yeah.
But
very easy.
Yeah. If you want to be creative, go for it. If you are a veteran player, don't go with the trope. It's boring.
But grow up. Like, seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Listen to Yaka. He knows what he's talking about.
He knows
20% of the time.
20% of the time, 100% of the time.
Yes.
And you know what, this episode, it makes me think we can expand on these tropes. Because we just talked about character classes. We could go with races next.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the board and, haughty elf. Everybody knows the drunken dwarf. We can talk about those next time.
Yeah.
I mean, race is a real issue right now in the world. I don't know if we should touch on half-orcs and stuff.
It is.
People get sensitive about that.
I know. And then you've got Tasha's Cauldron coming out with the new race rules.
Oh, yeah.
So they're optional rules, guys, if you don't want to deal with the whole racial issues, this and that, whatever. They're optional. You don't have to use them, so don't get up in arms.
Everything is optional,
That's right.
Honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If we're going to talk about it for real, everything is optional.
Right. Yes. So don't go up in arms like, oh my god, why are they making such a big deal about this? Blah, blah, blah. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? Stop bitching about it. I'm tired of it. Yeah. The book's not even out yet. Yeah.
And if you don't like it, then that's clearly not the system for you to play. Talk to your DM. See if they agree with you or are on your same side. Maybe you can move on to something else. Maybe you can write out, those type of stereotypes in general.
Right. Yeah.
It's all about the table that you play with, because every table has their own play style.
Yep. Everyone has their own play style, beliefs, this, that, whatever. Respect the players, the DMs, all of that. All rules are optional.
Yeah.
To an extent.
Yeah.
Spell rules aren't optional. Listen to those.
No, sorry. Range is range.
Read your spells.
Yeah. Read your spells. Pro tip.
Oh, that's going to be the name of this episode. Read your spells.
That had nothing to do with the rest of the episode.
I've already created the cover art. Read your spells.
Jeez. Thanks a lot.
Man.
This has been another episode of Busy Adults. Thanks.
This is Yaka saying thank you again for listening to the Busy Adults podcast. For more of our content, please subscribe to wherever you get your podcasts. Peace.